I'm going to call the board meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
Here.
Trustee Sauk. Here. Trustee Williams. Here.
Okay, item number 3, approval of minutes. I'll ask for a motion to approve the journal proceedings of the board meeting of May 9th, 2023.
Mr. Mayor, there's no executive session?
I haven't been noted. There was no one that asked for one.
Okay.
Okay, the first one that I just spoke about was the sine die. As you see it in your program on your agenda, and that was for, again, May 9, 2023. I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved with corrections.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Williams and second by Trustee Coleman. Are there any questions? You said the corrections?
Yes, I'll pass it out to the clerk later.
Oh, you already told me?
Yeah, I will talk to her. I just got them.
Okay. Any other questions, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Trustee Coleman.
Yes.
Trustee Johnson. Yes. Trustee Sauk. Yes. Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Okay, the next item is the approval of the journal proceedings for the inaugural board meeting minutes of May 9th, 2023. Ask for a motion to approve.
So moved with corrections.
Second.
Been moved by Trustee Williams, second by Trustee Coleman. Are there any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Coleman.
Yes.
Trustee Johnson. Yes. Trustee Sauk. Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll ask for a motion to approve the proceedings for the committee meeting that was held on May 16, 2023.
So moved with corrections.
Question?
No, I need a second.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Williams and second by Trustee Burns. Are there any questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I don't have a copy of it.
The minutes,
Yes.
it wasn't in your packet?
No.
You didn't get it at all, then? You didn't have a chance to review it? No, I'm saying you didn't get it at all, so you didn't get a chance to review it. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
One of them was on point. Okay, that's two special meeting. That's on one page. This is the committee meeting. That's committee 16. I usually have them all stated, so.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Johnson? Yes. Trustee Sack? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Burns?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes.
Motion carried. I'll ask for a motion to approve the proceedings of the special board meeting that was also held on May 16, 2023.
So moved with corrections.
Yeah, I'm not waiting for a second.
Second.
Well, it's moved by Trustee Williams, second by Trustee Johnson. Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Sack? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Burns?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson? Yes.
Motion carried. Public comment. All questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter concerning the business of the village or Sauk Village municipality. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate, counter replies, or rebuttals. I'll answer all questions once all comments have concluded. Please state your name when you come up to the mic. Is there a mic there for someone? If not, because someone, they come up and someone put one there for me.
David Smith, resident.
Wait a minute. You ready?
All right, David Smith, resident. Just a quick comment. All right. I sat back last week and I listened to the debates about the contracts with this upcoming concert. And I'm curious why the board specifically was so just adamant about taking a verbal agreement over the written agreement that was actually on paper. I've never heard that before. I just don't understand it. And to me, it seems like you guys are playing favorites, like you're trying to keep your four together. You're going to cover up any one of the shortcomings of the four for the sake of keeping your four majority vote together. And I don't appreciate that, and I don't think it's what's in the best interest of the village. It's my personal opinion. If Mayor Burgess was behind these contracts and all of their shortcomings, you guys would have had a field day. You would have been up here talking crazy, acting crazy, and doing who knows what. So I don't understand why that same mind state would apply when it's one of your own board members or the board itself that was behind this level of bad paperwork, bottom line. I just don't get it. And I hope moving forward, number one, the discrepancies were actually fixed, because if not, the village is going to be on the hook possibly for extra money, or we're going to be standing outside Saturday looking crazy and not having a concert. And number two, I hope moving forward, you guys can try to, you know, everybody has bad days. I don't want to call people incompetent or anything like that, but if you have a bad day, just admit it and move on. Do better next time. These are the same issues that you guys tell the mayor about all of the time, that you accuse him of doing. And I'm looking at some of the board members now like, you're no better than what you're accusing the mayor of being. And that's a shame. Because there's no change coming. It might be different people, but allegedly it's the same bad behavior. That's it, that's all.
My name is Henrietta.
Hold on just a second.
Speak to the mic. My name is Henrietta. Well, I just heard his comment. The same brother that's supposed to be in this here event, he already got his money. So now he's complaining now about things. Because if anything happened, he's still going to be paid. So he don't seem like he really cared. At first, he was messing with the young man over here to the right, Steve LaRock. Now all of a sudden, he's a good guy? Come on now. You're no better than them. I'm talking.
That's awesome.
You know, so my thing is, nobody's jumping on the mayor. They all trying to work together. If you don't want to work with them, you should have told her in the beginning. That's what you should have did. That's all I have to say to y'all.
Ma'am, what is your last name? Excuse me, what is your last name? You just said Henrietta.
Yeah, he said just state your name. And that's what I did. Henrietta is my name. Favors is my last name.
All right, okay. Any more? Both of those were just comments. I won't respond to them because that's what they were, comments. So I'm going to move on. And this is what comments session are part of. The comments are for. Is to express your comments. Okay. All right, reports of officers, mayor's report. Okay, I'm going to read the veto that I'm presenting to the board. That's it.
It's not in the packet.
I only picked up one of them. So I have to do the other one. Okay.
You got them both?
Yeah, I got it.
That's okay.
Okay. The first one is the Veto message. At a special meeting of the corporate authorities at the Village of Sauk Village held on June 6, 2023, the Village Board adopted an ordinance amending Article 4 of Chapter 2 of the Village Municipal Code. The code amended provides for a village human resource consultant to work at Sauk Village Hall while open to the public. By the submission of this letter to the City Council, I disapproved of the adoption of that ordinance and returned it to the City Council with my written objections. I vetoed this ordinance in its entirety because if the board starts requiring specific hours, would change the independent contractor status of the human resource consultant for payroll purposes and may result in additional costs to the village for payroll taxes, medical insurance, and IMRF. Additionally, the ordinance unreasonably restricts the ability of the HR consultant to perform work and attend meetings outside Village Hall. For these reasons, I hereby submit my written objections in the form of veto, and I disapprove of the ordinance in its entirety. 65 ILCS 5/3.1/40/45.
Mr. Mayor, can we comment on this or should we wait for our own report?
This is just veto.
Okay, so I will wait till our report to comment on what you just said? I just asked a question, sir.
Yeah.
How would you like it handled? Thank you.
The second veto is that at a special meeting of the corporate authorities of the Village of Sauk Village held on June 6, 2023, the Village Board adopted an ordinance creating the position of the internal auditor to the Board of Trustees for the Village of Sauk Village. By the submission of this letter to the City Council, I disapproved the adoption of that ordinance and returned it to the City Council with my written objections. I vetoed this ordinance in its entirety because it does not properly follow the statute in creating an office of internal auditor. The Illinois Municipal Code authorizes the Village Board to create the office of internal auditor within the village and provide the manner in which the internal auditor may be appointed. 65 ILCS 5/8-1-1-5. The ordinance only creates the position of internal auditor and fails to provide the manner in which the internal auditor would be appointed. Additionally, the ordinance purports to amend the Village of Sauk Village Code of Ordinance, but fails to state which sections of the village code are amended or how they would be amended. Finally, the ordinance appropriates funds for the internal auditor role contrary to the statutory procedures of the Illinois Municipal Code. The ordinance provide that the internal auditor will be paid a reasonable hourly rate with an annual cost not to exceed $50,000. However, the municipal code requires municipalities with a population of less than 500,000 to adopt an ordinance appropriating funds within the first quarter of each fiscal year. After the ordinance is adopted, if municipalities want to further appropriate funds, they have during the fiscal year, or two, the corporate authorities may make transfers within any department or other agencies of the municipal government by a 2/3 vote. That's 65 ILCS 5/8-2-9. The village board did not take action. The village board did not take either action to appropriate the $50,000 for the office of internal auditor. Thus, this appropriation is not proper under the Illinois Municipal Code. And for the reasons stated above, I hereby submit my written objection in the form of a veto, and I disapprove the ordinance of its entirety. Okay. Last thing. I just want everyone to understand something so it will be clear at this meeting. We're going to have a festival this Saturday. I'm hoping that the village officials, as far as the trustees, will come out, volunteer, whatever they have to do to help make this a success, number one. But I will say this, and it is for the record, I'm not looking for any negative parts of this festival. I hope that we can show up and show out and have fun at this festival. However, if it gets to that point, and if it gets to the point where I see that outside forces are coming in, then we're going to have to take action on that, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen, so I can let everyone know ahead of time that I don't want to be a Tinley Park where it happens to them at the last minute. We don't have nearly the amount of police officers that they have. So just hoping that when they come out to have fun, come out to enjoy yourself. It's a family festival, it's a family setting. Yes, there's going to be DJs and there'll be a band there, but it's a family setting. Hopefully we can come out and act like Sauk Villagers that I know we can act. And I'm hoping that everyone, I'm not looking, and I'm hoping that I'm not looking for anything negative, and I'm looking for anything to somebody to do anything other than come out and enjoy themselves. That being said, that's all that I have. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple things to report this evening. The first one that I would like to talk about are the receipts received for vehicle licenses and animal tags for the period of May 1st, 2023 through May 31st, 2023. During that time, we sold a whopping 20 animal tags. That's it. Most of the cars and the trucks that have been sold, the trucks were basically from our businesses in the village, and the car stickers were basically purchased by our senior citizens in the village. So it's quite telling that in spite of the amount of outreach that's been done, our residents are taking us seriously when we say that that this is the law and that they need to follow it. But anyway, we did take in $9,419, but in that 1 month period of time, we've not sold 500 village stickers. So we've really got to do something to make a major push. Moving on, trustees, at your desktop, you have the Sauk Village Community Partnership Team. Many of you are aware of the partnership team. Some of you are not. And the document that you have before you was developed by our community partners for an event that the school district had back in the fall. And I think that it's really important that we review this. I do not want to read it to you. However, it shows when and how the partnership was formed, the purpose of the partnership, and how we continue to seek other individuals, community-based organizations to join us. But we do have most of the taxing bodies of the village. We have a representation of faith-based and community organizations who are actively participating. The current leads of our community partnership is one, she's a school district board member, as well as your parent-teacher organization chairperson, and that is Serena Durr-Jones. Representing the village is the village clerk, me, Marva Campbell-Pruitt. Generally, if you think about it, whenever the school district invite any of us to anything, it comes through who? It comes to me, and I share it with you. Likewise, when the board has a need for anything with the school district specifically, that should go to me and or Serena Durr-Jones. We are not to go directly to their staff asking for handouts, giveaways, dictating anything at all. They would prefer that we honor our community partnership, and I would like for us to honor it as well, so I thought I would give you that. But then along that same token, as we talk about the community partnership, one event that we're planning is the community-wide yard sale. It was very, very successful last year. A number of people asked that we repeat it this year, but they did give suggestions on how to increase the visibility of the vendors, and so we will be taking that into consideration. So I'm asking everyone to mark your calendars for August 26th. Even if you don't plan to join us, I would hope that you don't plan to have another event on that day, so that it's a coordinated event. I've mentioned this one, I'm moving right along, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I've mentioned this quite a bit, and I'm going to mention it again. And that is, when you use the rotunda for a meeting, you must put it back. If you realize today that a number of you, when you came in, you had to do what? You had to pull a chair up. I was able to move the desk, but those chairs are heavy, and I can't do that. The computer was up here. The computer wasn't used until Wednesday, but it's for court. Court was last week, not this week. So its permanent location is not here. So since the police chief isn't here, I'm going to ask the village administrator if he would please take very good care that when it's being used for court, that the setting be placed back in a decent manner. Not just the police department, I'm talking any and everyone that have meetings in here. And we know that you cannot have what in here? Food, okay? So even if you want to treat your committee members and everything, set up a nice table out there and have them eat their snacks and drink their whatever out there, and then come into your meeting. There's a calendar in the back for when you're having meetings that you should sign up for the meeting space. We have only 2 spaces right now, and that is the Rotunda and Conference Room B. You should place which location you would want to host your meeting so that there is no overlap. But this room here is turning over every day now. So I would advise that you would schedule your time in so that you and your committees don't come looking to have a meeting here and you won't be able to. The resident handbook has been updated, and it will be posted on the website. I will put it on Facebook, and we will have numerous copies up front. I'm going to ask that any residential handbook that you have in your possession now, that you can toss it, because it has been updated, and it's been updated with the new staff that we have on board, because it's important that our residents know who to communicate with when they need to talk to someone here at the village. So I update that residential handbook, I would say 4 to 5 times a year, because the shelf life is so small, because we keep doing turnovers, okay? But look for your residential handbook real soon. Lastly, Mr. Mayor, I'm just going to make an appeal to all of the department heads for their reports. Reports should come to the clerk's office by 10 o'clock, by any means necessary. By 10 o'clock on Friday, prior to the meeting, I would ask that you would have any supporting documents that go along with it to increase our readiness so that we don't keep repeating the same agenda items over and over again, because of lack of readiness. Then we don't have to have special meetings that cost taxpayers more money because we have to approve something right away. Let's take care of the business of the village decently and in order. And Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report. Thank you very much.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes, Madam Clerk, I didn't catch the location of that community yard sale. Yard sale.
Okay, last year it was on the backside of Village Hall, but a number of people have recommended to increase the visibility that it be in the parking lot in between Village Hall and the police station. So then people would, and then it would go on around the corner if it needs to be.
Thank you.
All right, Corporate Counsel, Mr. Boland from Ansel and Glenn.
Thank you, Mayor. No report.
Okay. Police Department, who's going to read that? Are you reading this report? Okay. You have,
Yes, thank you.
okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Board of Trustees, I do have the report from our police chief, and he is reporting for calls of service for the period of 5/24/2023 and 6/13/2023. The police department responded to more than 562 calls for service. During that same period, officers made 19 arrests. Illinois Law Enforcement's Special Olympics Torch Run took place on June the 6th. Sauk Village police officers participated in the Illinois Law Enforcement Special Olympics Torch Run. Each year, the 9th leg of the Torch Run begins at I-394 and heads eastbound through the village. Sauk Village PD then hands off the torch to Linwood Police at 209th and Torrance for a total of 3 miles. He's also reporting criminal investigations on June 6, 2023, approximately 2:57 p.m. Sauk Village police officers responded to a carjacking victim at 1801 Sauk Trail at the Marathon gas station. The 46-year-old victim was unharmed and was able to give the officers good information on the 17-year-old juvenile. Give information on the incident and description of the offender. 20-year-old Marseille Richmond of Sauk Village and 17-year-old juvenile offender were taken into custody later that day. On June 8th, 2023, Officer Richmond was charged with aggravated offender, Richmond was charged with aggravated vehicle hijacking, and he is currently being held at Cook County lockup with no bond. The juvenile was also charged with was transported to Cook County Juvenile Detention Center. That's the end of the report.
Okay.
Ask me, I have a copy, please. Thank you.
Okay, Fire Department, Chief Stephen Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, Board of Trustees. For the period of May 29, 2023 through June 12 of the same year, the Fire Department responded to 98 calls for service. We did not have any major incidents at that time. On Sunday, June 11th, if you missed it, you missed out on some good food that I did cook. The fire department had our pancake breakfast with a vendor show. We had over 21 vendors. It was a beautiful turnout, and we will have it again during our fire prevention week. It would not be a pancake breakfast, we will have a chili cook-off during that time. And just for those that forgot, last year I did win first place in the chili cook-off because my chili is the best of the South Suburbs. Just wanted to put that out there. So there'll be more information to follow. Remember that every first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m., we test our tornado sirens. If you don't hear them, please notify me at the fire station at 708-758-2225. I would like to thank the concerned residents who were able, who did not hear them on the backside of Jeffrey and Yates. To my understanding now that they have been out quite some time, but as of 2 weeks ago, they are now repaired. So if you do not hear them, please let me know, and we will take care of that immediately. I'm happy to announce, as of Tuesday, May 30th, 2023, the Sauk Village Fire Department has switched back over to a fire-based EMS, meaning that we have our own ambulance back in town, which is a blessing. This is a huge deal for us. It has been missing for over 23 years. We would like to thank our mayor, Burgess, for believing in our vision, our clerk and board of trustees for trusting in our vision, and we could not forget Bright Star Ambulance for helping us to get to our vision. We are beyond grateful for everyone who played a part. We are also grateful to our neighboring towns who held us down while we were in our transition phase. Finally, we have our nice weather. Please be aware that there is no open burning allowed in Cook County. I'm gonna say that again, that there is no open burning allowed in Cook County. If caught performing an illegal burn, you would be fined. Once again, please consider this as your warning. Also, we still have, we are still in our severe weather season. Please make sure that you have enough candles, fuel for your generators if you have them, batteries for your flashlights, and always keep your cell phones with a full battery in the case that we lose power. And always know that if we do lose power, the fire station is a center where you can come to for those of our residents who are on oxygen or need any type of assistance during the power outage. We will make sure that you are set up to a point where your oxygen tanks and your concentrators will be able to be plugged in. And one thing while we're talking about our seniors, I want to notify all of our seniors that the fire department is going to be hosting an event at our station middle of July, where we're going to be checking blood pressures. And while we're checking blood pressures and medications, we will also be giving out a form where you can put down all the information of your next of kin, your doctors, any type of medical issues that you have. And we will have them stored at the firehouse as well as our dispatch center. In the case that we need to get in, we want to make sure that we are able to take care of you properly and notify those that need to be notified in the case of an emergency for you. We are also working on a program to where we can get our seniors Knox boxes so that the fire department do not have to do any damage to the doors or windows to gain access in the case that you go down in your home and you're home alone. So all of this is coming into play. We want our seniors to know that we love you and we are a village that care. So we're going to do everything possible to make sure that we take care of our seniors. And I almost said amen. But as always, stay safe and God bless. That concludes my report.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Williams.
Great initiatives, Chief. Could you also check in with CalCom? I think I mentioned to you this before. They do have a list of, I'm not exactly sure what the report's called, that they could have on file when the ambulance is called to the house that shows the doctor's information, the prescription information, and who needs to be called. We worked that initiative when we first came out with CalCom. If we can get that started at the same time, and that's not just for seniors, that's for anybody with any type of medical condition.
Correct. So we were starting, that's the same program that we're doing now. We were just starting with our seniors first, and then we're going to work our way down to the rest of the residents. Now, when we have our senior event, this is at no cost to anyone. So it's just, we want to make sure that everyone is taking care of themselves. So it's like a preventative measures. So we want to make sure that you understand your prescription. We want to make sure that you get all of that. So once we get this form now, it's called a File for Life. Which is just a file that has all of your information with your drugs and medical history. And it would be for the entire village to have any type of illnesses or things of that such. We're also working on some some window tags to put in your house if you're on oxygen. That let us know that you have oxygen on your premises. In the case of a fire, it's a total different situation. So we're working to make sure that our entire village is in safe hands, like all state.
Okay.
Amen.
All righty, sir. Thank you so much for the great report. Finance Department, Director Renee Lewis.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to shine some positive light on the Finance Department as well as Public Works and the Water Department. From April 1st, 2023 to today, the Water Department and the Finance Department have collected over $824,000 in water bill payments.
Wow. Don't mean y'all gotta spend it though. Is that it?
Yes.
That's, oh, okay. All right. Village Administrator, Mr. Timothy Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Clerk and Board of Trustees. Wanted to take a moment just to first thank you all for your warm welcome, along with the department heads who have been extremely gracious in getting me up to speed and providing information that will help me in my role. I'm in day 9 here and really excited about the opportunities and the challenges that are ahead of us. If I can take a moment to step back, I did get a call from our village engineer, Ms. Melanie Arnold, who is out of town. She had a death in the family, and so she was unable to be with us tonight, so I'd ask that we all keep her in our prayers. And we will be meeting next week to get an update on pending projects along with Public Works Director Gilliard. If I may, Mayor, I have, and I apologize, Clerk, I see that educator and you came out today, but I have the reports for myself, the police chief, and community development director that I'd like to distribute to the board. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so again, I thank you to Public Works Director, Mr. Gilliard. He gave me a nice tour of the village. We visited Public Works facility and discussed many critical needs like the permanent facility for the air strippers, restoration of water main breaks, the sidewalk program, water meter replacements, ways to improve billing reliability that we've also discussed with the finance director, and ways to reduce water loss. I'd like to thank him for his wisdom, and he seems to be on top of things, and looking forward to working with him. I had an initial meeting with CASREC IT consultant to be briefed on critical and routine IT infrastructure needs. Tomorrow there's an internal needs assessment scheduled with all department heads. This data will be used to make recommendations to the board and the mayor to improve the website, review existing IT, customer relation management tools, payroll processing, local ordinance, code enforcement, and administrative adjudication platforms, utility billing, etc. I have requested access to the accounts processing, utility billing, others, and that is forthcoming, and I have received some of that. I am thankful to the HR consultant who's provided my data requests for collective bargaining agreements, the attendance, employee attendance policy, job descriptions, and the employee handbook. We have instituted a weekly status report requirement for all department heads, and we will be alternating bi-weekly team meetings as well. Met with the mayor and corporation counsel to review all legal matters, including pending litigation, lawsuits, and potential cases for and against the village. With the finance director, we've established contact with Mr. Egan from Selden Fox, who had been out of office for some time. We've received the PBC list produced by client list, and we're going to start working to get that information to them so that we can start working on the audits. We've scheduled meetings with Safe Built to understand building department and code enforcement processes. Worked with the mayor, Trustee Burns, Director Lewis, Mayor's Assistant, Mary Klopp, the General Liability Insurance Rep, Cliff Taylor, to mitigate risks associated with special events. And we were able to create some forms and cover letters for vendors so that they can get us all of the information so that these events don't pose any risk to the village or any liability. We've met with our Community Development Director and Attorney Brent Denson to review existing and pending abandonment procedures, petitions, judicial deeds for real property acquisition, and scheduled a meeting with our bondholders. I will take a moment to let the board know that frequent transition and disruptions does cause some brand challenges and seems to make the markets become a little wary of us, and we want to make sure that we don't have our bond rating impacted by issues that we can manage. And so that's something that we're certainly in the process of doing. And thank you to the board for their passion and persistence and dedication to making this village a better place to live and work. Scheduled meetings with the South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association to review existing and pending transportation projects. There are some issues for immediate attention that I'm reporting. There's some internet reliability issues that have been impacting our phone service. CASRAC IT is on top of that and will be before the board by August with a presentation of proposal to change providers. So that's forthcoming. There's some security camera integration village-wide that we addressed while out with a tour with the Public Works Superintendent. We want to centralize that. My apologies. And working to address the internal controls, policies, and procedures. Activities in process. I am in the early stages of comprehensive review and strategic initiative to address both long-standing challenges and goal setting for human resources staffing, operational review, financial controls, and strategic planning. Next week we have a fleet management meeting that the fire chief is scheduled with the police department, public works, and the fire department to address some of our fleet maintenance issues and to look at replacement for some of the vehicles. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay. Sure.
Are there any questions?
Okay. No questions? All right. Thank you very much, sir. Public Works, I know you may not have anything. I just wanted to actually introduce everybody to Mr. Anthony Gilliard. He's the interim Public Works Director. If you want to say anything to the board, now would be the time. Does it work? It's got to turn green.
Mr. Mayor, my name is Anthony Gilliard, aka Tony. I would like to just introduce myself to everybody that's here that hasn't met me. And I have no report at this time.
Okay. All right, now reports of standing committees and trustee comments. Public Health and Safety, Trustee Aretha Burns.
Thank you, Mayor, Madam Clerk, trustees, department heads, residents. Good evening. First, I want to say thank you, Mayor, so much for your desire that we as the corporate authorities in our village put our best foot forward for our community events. Thank you so much for that. Also want to say that, as you know, I'm a newer trustee and I've only been here for 6 months. This village event was put in my hands. Me and the mayor spoke extensively about it. But I want to make sure that the residents know, the board knows, the department heads know. It was a very, very difficult challenge in such a very short time, being that there was no policies, no procedures that was standing that I could follow. So I had to talk to whomever I could, including the mayor, department heads, or whatever, to try to make this happen for our community. We have had the attorneys look over this event several times. It has been before the board several times. Now, I just heard Chief Barrett mention that he had a beautiful event with many, many vendors. I know that we have a corn dog roast, and I know we have people how he cooking corn and all kind of things. But I do also know that until there are policies and procedures put in place, and until we have ordinances and a standing list where we can all follow the same rules, same regulations, so we will not be bouncing from place to place and procedure to procedure to get a job done. So even at the 9th hour, it is a few days before the festival, and I have been asked to have an earring vendor to have a certificate of insurance, an earring vendor to have workman's comp and all kind of things at the 9th hour. Not workman's, well, some of the vendors, yes. Earring vendors, sock vendors, I was told they need certificates of insurance and things of that nature. I'm told that all of our food vendors, which I am making sure that they have their certificates of insurance and their vendor's license. But I know for a very strong fact that that is not the procedure that everyone else is following. I know that for a fact. I know that we have corn and dog roast, and our regular residents are cooking, and our regular people are there bringing food, and they're manning food, and no one has their handler's license. And these cooks and food that we're serving do not have certificates of insurance. So I'm saying that to say, what I have done is spark up for all of us to get on the same page, for all of us. And Mr. Williams can attest, and also Ms. Lewis can attest, that going through this procedure is going to make us get ourselves on our toes, so that we can do this correctly, we can do this right, and we can have something that we all follow. And one group of people don't have one set of rules that they can follow, and then another set of rules for someone else who's doing an event. So to the response, I think I heard someone say they didn't understand why this was happening and why that was happening. Well, I'm explaining why it's happening. Because some people can do what they want to do and not get certain things asked of them, and then others are asked to do other things. So I am glad that we are working together to make all of us have to abide by the same policies, same procedures, same rules, so that we can all make sure that our events are successful and that we are happy in the process, and we don't have to keep going through back and forth, back and forth. That's number one. Number two, any vendor, and I want to make this a strong statement, any vendor that wishes to withdraw from the festival, please let me know so that I can make sure that I notate that, because I don't want to make any payments or give anything to the board or accounts payable to present financially if a vendor desires to withdraw. Please let me know, and I will really appreciate that, and I thank you so much. We are, as a board of corporate authorities, we are eager to get this festival going. We have two. We have one on the 17th. We also have one on July 1st. And I, for one, don't want to have to go through this again. So we are eager as a village, we are eager as a corporate authorities to get our village on track, our finances on track. The board, the corporate authorities have talked to accountants, internal auditors, and we are doing whatever it is that we need to do to make sure that we're working with the mayor so that our finances, our financial department, and everything that we need can get on track. Just want to let everyone know that the board is 100% invested in this village getting our finances where they need to be, in our finance department where it needs to be, because we need our audits to be done so that we can get and obtain the government assistance that we need through our, in any type of other financial, with things that are being withheld because our audits are not done. So the corporate authorities are 100% down with whatever we need to do so that our finances can be in order, so that we can get our village moving in the right direction. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Trustee, when is your next committee meeting? Okay.
Okay, so my next committee meeting, I don't have my calendar, but my next committee meeting will be the third Friday in July.
At what time?
Well, no, I take that back. This is June, we're in the middle of June. My next committee meeting will be, I need a calendar. Anyone have a calendar? Just the second week of June. Let me look at my calendar so I can be calm. Okay, so we are at the 13th. My next committee meeting will be, it's gonna have to be early because we need to make some things clear. So the next committee meeting will be the 27th of June, which will be on the 28th of June, which will be on a Wednesday. So the Public Health and Safety Committee meeting will have an early meeting, which will be Wednesday, June the 28th. Thank you.
At what time, 6, 7?
6 o'clock, same time.
Okay. And then the one thing that I wanted to clarify with you about as far as the corn and dog roast, I cook most of the corn. I do have someone that helps me and cook the hot dogs, and we contain that. We don't have any outside person coming in doing any cooking, or I don't think I even have vendors. I think I have people passing out material for informational, but I don't even think there's, I'm pretty sure there's no vendors that come to the corn and dog roast.
And
I just wanted to make that clear. I wasn't going
Ice cream trucks.
What ice cream? That wasn't for the corn dog roast, that was something else, no. That was for, the ice cream trucks was for National Night Out, which is the first Tuesday in October.
Thank you, Mayor. May I make a comment, Mayor?
What?
The reason why I said that is because it was expressed to me that any type of food that has to be passed out to the villagers, period, whomever is dealing with food because of a liability situation, whomever is dealing with food and is passing out food must have a food sanitation handler's license. They must have a certificate of insurance. So I'm told it doesn't matter whether it's ourselves as trustees or the mayor or anyone. If food is being distributed because of liability of the village, I am told that whomever it is must have a food handler's license and a certificate of insurance. It doesn't matter whom it is. So if it's help, if you have help, if it's the mayor, if it's myself, it doesn't matter. I was told that anyone dealing with food must have a license handling of food sanitation and a certificate of insurance. That was expressed to me by Mr. Williams himself.
Okay.
Thank you.
I mean, we do have that, but go ahead, that's okay.
Thank you. And it has to be shown before this event takes place. So if these are the procedures, then everyone has to follow.
Public Service, Trustee Raven Johnson.
We'll be holding our meeting. Yes, it's on now. We'll be holding our meeting tomorrow, which is Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the Rotunda. All are welcome.
At 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay. Is that, no, I'm saying, is that all?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Okay. Ordinance review, Trustee Arnold Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, to the board, department heads, and to the residents. Our next committee review, ordinance 7 p.m. Again, that's June the 26th, Monday, at 7 p.m. here in the Rotunda. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Now, Housing and Intergovernmental Relations, Trustee Diane Sapp. Oh, okay. Community Development, Trustee Debbie Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Sauk Talk deadline is June 15th. There was very low participation in the last Sauk Talk. I even repeated several articles from the first 4 Sauk Talks. This is our Sauk Talk. This is our community Sauk Talk. This belongs to the board, to the residents, to the churches, to the other community organizations. It is our Sauk Talk to bring communication to the residents, to let them know what's going on in and around Sauk Village. I'm encouraging people to please cooperate and please work within our deadline so that we can have the best possible communication with our residents that we can. And also, I just received the accounts payable just before the meeting. I've been looking for it since Friday when the packet first came out. I don't know why we didn't have a rough draft, because it has been in the past. We would at least get a rough draft and then see amendments coming forward just before the meeting. So I really do not feel that I can approve accounts payable tonight with the fact that we just got the accounts payable just before the meeting, with the exception of 9 items that I saw that need to move forward. And I did ask to see the invoices, to review the invoices when I first picked up the accounts payable tonight, so to see which ones needed to be immediately approved. I was told I need to sit at the finance department director's desk to review the invoices. This has been the practice for a little while now, and I really don't think that that's right. That me as a trustee cannot take the invoices 12 feet from her office to my desk, that I can review them at my leisure in my office. I am a trustee, I can be trusted, and she started to move things off of her desk so that I could read the invoices. That's not right, and I would like for that practice to be discontinued, or I would like a written explanation of why that is happening. And as far as the accounts payable is, like I had said, there's 9 items, so when that comes up to vote, I will be requesting that we postpone approval of the accounts payable. And the payroll obviously payroll is already paid, so it will not affect our employees. But I just wanted to make it known to Trustee Burns that I hear your frustration. I see all of the excellent work and effort that you have put into this festival. Being one of the trustees that did not approve the festival did not matter to me. The fact is, the board, with the mayor's final vote to break the tie, with his final vote to break the tie, put this festival in action, and I will personally do anything I can do to make it a success, because you have worked feverishly. You have been asked to do things that no one else has ever been asked to do. And when these policies and procedures come through, very many people are going to question why this has never been done before, because it has not been. We have had many people come through here DJing, providing barbecue, providing all types of food, all type of vendor opportunities. And yes, we do have volunteers working at the Corn and Dog Roast, National Night Out, several other events that I personally have thrown myself, where we did not have certificate of insurance, we did not have food handler's license. We just said, you want to work with us, let's work together. I'm not saying that that's 100% the way things should go, but that's the way it's gone since I've been in the village since 1987. I would like to know, when is the last time somebody was asked for a certificate of insurance to sell earrings? Not the last time, when was the first time anybody was asked to have a certificate of insurance to DJ? Because I know we have a DJ in the audience right now who's DJ'd on several occasions, and he was never asked to give his certificate of insurance, much less a business license. So I'm saying, be careful what you ask for, because we have committees, the senior committee, we have different committees that call out other entities to come in, serve food, and we have to be careful. Like Trustee Burns said, we can't do A for this group and B for that group. When these policies and procedures comes through, we all have to do it. Habitat for Humanity, we have cooked for them when they came out and did our community cleanups. We picked up a grill, we brought hot dogs and hamburgers out, and we just sat there and cooked up some hot dogs and hamburgers. And nobody was ever said that we needed to have a handler's license, a certificate of insurance, or anything else. We just sat there and thanked our Habitat for Humanity volunteers for helping us in our community. But I'm telling you right now, be careful what you ask for. This is going to change the whole demographics on how we get things done in the village, and many questions will be coming from this situation. But Trustee Burns, I admire your fortitude, and I admire the fact that you did not let this stop you. And again, let me reiterate, I am there for whatever you need to make this a success. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee.
You're welcome.
I just have one question. You made a statement that you will not approve accounts payable. That was just that was just your statement.
Yes, sir. What I said was, Mayor, was I was going to ask to postpone accounts payable. I said I will ask to postpone it. That's what I'm giving you a heads up, that when accounts payable comes to the table, the reason why I will be asking for accounts payable to be postponed is because we just received accounts payable prior to the meeting.
Again, trustee, you're one trustee?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So,
absolutely.
So for you to say something like that already lets me know that you've already made this, and or you guys have already talked.
What does that really matter in the grand scheme of things? I'm making my report.
You're absolutely right.
It doesn't. They all got to.
You can talk all you guys want to. But
well, I just gave you a heads up. Maybe you didn't deserve that.
Making false statements, I don't appreciate that either.
That's not a false statement,
It is a false statement.
Which one was false?
You know.
No, I don't.
Like trustee, believe.
If you're gonna call me out, let me answer to you.
Well, but I get called and believe.
Yes,
so,
you do.
Okay,
sir.
I sure do.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, well, thank me. Reports from committees, Senior Advisory Committee, Mrs. Farmer. I don't know if there's a mic up there, there's one up there.
Thank you, Mayor, Board of Trustees, Madam Clerk. My report for this Tuesday, June 13th, from the Executive Board meeting, the Senior Advisory Council. Our next meeting for the Senior Advisory Council is it shouldn't be this Thursday. Thursday, July 13th, 2023, 5 o'clock p.m. in the Senior Center. Of course, all are welcome. Again, the times for game night are from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we're really soliciting folks to come out every second and fourth Friday. We have games such as Vitriol, Bunko, Dominoes, and more, whatever games that the seniors desire. And you all know our seniors are 50 years up in age, 50 years of age and up, sorry. Also, breakfast bingo is every first and third Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Senior Center. Come and enjoy breakfast and bingo and play bingo with us. That is this Friday coming. We are having our breakfast bingo. We have sponsors. The Eastern Stars are coming and fix us breakfast this yeah, and don't forget to tell Chief White. They're going to have shrimp and grits and salmon croquettes and a lot of good stuff. So make sure y'all spread the word. Make sure you all RSVP with Carol Coleman or Deborah Coney, so we have enough food for everyone. Okay, and also we're having our second casino trip of the year. It's going to be Wednesday, July 26th. The cost is $40 per person. And of course, the casino gives back $25 for gaming and food on arrival. All money is due by July 16th. Our buses leave at 10 a.m. from the Senior Center, and we're asking guests to arrive between 9 and 9:30 for donuts and coffee and boarding. Okay. Also contact Carol Coleman and Deborah Coney for to RSVP and to pay your $40. Also, we started a senior fit. And so far, it's going to be every Monday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, starting June 19th. And we're also going to be moving it to Monday and Wednesday. But come out and join us, seniors, of course, age 50 and up, and get some exercise in. Seniors, we definitely need the exercise. And so we're asking you to contact Carol Coleman. She's going to be the instructor for that, for more information. Also, come out, Joe, we're gonna have a senior movie day. And I want you to come out and enjoy a movie with us on Wednesday, June 21st, from 2 to 4 in the Senior Center day room. And that's gonna be Dolores Randall, who's gonna be in charge of that, and she's gonna serve popcorn, so hope all of that is okay. Thank you all, and that concludes my report.
All righty. The microphone.
Yes.
Doesn't on the mic itself. It's a switch. There you go.
Being that the Eastern Stars are serving food, are they required to have a food handler certificate?
I haven't heard that. We
Probably should verify that.
I haven't heard that. We, you know, well, like Trustee Williams said, we've been doing this for a while, and
That's right.
you know, so if the mayor or someone comes to me or whatever and tell me that's the case, I don't know. Like I said, someone have to, I guess, instruct me. Hopefully, that can stay as it is, but you know, things happen. So.
Also, I would like to ask a question. Not you, Mr. Farmer. Thank you so much. If it's okay, did I ask a question of Mr. Williams regarding what Mr. Farmer just talked about? I need clarification.
Go ahead.
Mr. Williams, the clarification that I need is any of us as organizations, department heads, or committees. You said that you had a form or list that you are working on. Every one of us that has to provide food or any type of vendors, do we have to first make sure that report that to you first before we can even begin to invite these vendors, so that we all can have a list on how we're to handle our food and our vendors?
So I will start and ask Corporation Counsel to maybe piggyback or jump in if there's any more information that's needed. There should be a distinction made between outside vendors and the municipality who is covered under its own general liability insurance. This is the requirement. This is just best practices. It was not at all intended to cause any disruption or any programs or projects or events that are being scheduled here. It was just a matter of mitigating risk and preventing the village from bringing upon themselves any liability. And so outside vendors, people that are coming from, that are food handlers from elsewhere, I think it is best practices, and it is the will of the board. If you direct me to not require that, then that is the will of the board, and that's what will happen. But it is a matter of protecting the village and those individuals who serve food, that are coming to provide food to our residents. If someone gets sick, we are liable. And so this was just a matter of ensuring that we had all the documentation in place. And I understand that this may have been going on for quite some time, but forgive me for not knowing the existing practice and just coming in attempting to make improvements. So I thank you for working hard to go ahead and get that together and making sure that all vendors that are participating do have the food handling, safety, sanitation, and that we do have a means of tracking all of the vendors that were participating in the events. It's just a matter of knowing who's going to be on our premises so that we can have the coverage and protection that we need. And I'd ask the attorney maybe to chime in.
Sure, Mayor. I agree with the administrator. That does sound like a best practice without having too much background about any of these particular events or vendors that we're talking about. Making sure that your insurer will look for you to have make sure that either you have coverage for activities that you are hosting, or to the administrator's point, if there's outside vendors, the insurer will recommend that other insurance coverages be certified or provided. And I think it's the same with food handling. That actually might be a county requirement without having it in front of me. And so that's just what that requirement is. I don't have handy, but whatever the requirements are. And to the administrator's point, every organization that we work with is always undergoing process improvement and making their procedures and updating their best practices. So I think that's that's something that's very common for municipalities to be doing.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I have a question. Oh, you through?
No, go ahead.
I have a question for the attorney. Okay. Mr. Attorney, so in view of the fact that we've been doing it like this for, well, the village is 66 years old, that we've been doing it for as long as we have, until that policy or procedure is put in place, do we still act according to the way we've always done it until we do have a policy and procedure? I'm all for policies and procedures and doing things right. I'm just saying, we have a festival in 3 days. There's been an awful lot of hoops that this young lady has had to drive around, get through, and again, an earring vendor, your earring could get infected. I mean, have you ever dealt with a municipality that asked that somebody get a certificate of insurance if they sold jewelry? Because I sell jewelry.
May I be recognized on that,
all
please?
the festivals I've been to that I've never been asked to provide a certificate of insurance.
Just for clarity, the earring vendor is not required to provide any certificate of insurance. We just needed a form that indicated who the vendor was and what they'd be providing. So that particular vendor was not required to present, and I apologize if I didn't communicate that to you properly, Trustee Burns.
Okay, so to Trustee Williams' question, and again, this is what I'm speaking of. It is a practice that has been going on for over 60 years. So my question is, and I enjoy what Committee Chair Farman does with the seniors, and all of these committees are doing really great things, but if I'm held to such a stringent position of having certificate of insurance and food handler's license and all these things, which I don't have a problem doing, but what it's going to have to say is everyone else have to stop their events and not move forward unless they can produce these requirements. So to Trustee Williams' comment, do we move forward, or do everyone who has an event dealing with food and vendors of any sort have to stop in our tracks? Because if no one else is required to have these things, then what's going on with what I'm doing? So I feel very singled out. I feel picked on. I feel abused. I feel all those things because all of these other committees are able to move forward in the way that they have been moving forward without any stipulations or recommendations or any of that. So I just need to know, as Trustee Williams said, can we continue in the practice that we've continued until the board do an ordinance or put something in policies, procedures in place, attorney, in place, or do we just stop everything? How are we going to work this? Because I'm not going to be the only one that have to follow all these rules and no one else has to.
Go ahead.
I'm just asking.
Thank you, Mayor. So what the policy is the insurance policy that the village has, and if your insurer has requirements, I can only advise you to follow them. And same with if there's county health permit requirements, all I can do is advise.
I do have a comment. I thought this was going to be, which has been advertised as bring your own. Bring your own grill, bring your own food, bring your own whatever you can cook out there. I was not aware that there were going to be food vendors. I would have said that. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen any vendors as far as serving food talked about or came out or applied for a license. So I don't know where this is coming from. So I would think that why would you have a food vendor come out if you tell people to bring their own food? We're going back and forth over the same thing. We should have done this 2-3 months ago.
Correct.
Right now, we're getting ready to get, going back and forth is not going to, right now at this particular point in time, it was stated that the insurance will cover a lot. But when it comes to the food and you're selling food out there and they're independent, then yes, they need to have some type of license or some type of certificate so we won't be held liable for it. That's all that was about. But now we want to go back and forth and act as if this is nothing. This hasn't happened in 60-some years. So, I mean, only thing I'm saying is if you're going to have food vendors, we need to know who they are. And if they're going to be out there, they need to fill out the proper paperwork. And the vendor pricing doesn't even make, I don't know, that needs to be changed. But right now, it's $50 for food and $25 for regular vendors. So we can go back and forth back. Well, if this happened 60, 70, 80 years ago, okay, fine. But that's not now. Right now we're talking about it. It's not that hard to do. But right now I haven't seen any vendor. I haven't seen any license or application to put a vendor out there to sell any food or any goods. So I'm hoping that they don't come Saturday because they can't get a license Saturday because the village hall's closed and we're not accepting money out there.
So, Mayor, and that's what I'm saying. This is our the advertising of vendors have been on the flyer for months now.
Okay.
So vendors, but there was no direction for me to know what to do and how to handle the vendors. I just got that information.
So there was nothing that told you that they need to pay?
There was nothing.
Oh, they were just gonna come out?
That I have been inquiring from anyone that I could to find out what are the procedures to handle the vendors.
Okay,
and so,
you said that you acquired anyone.
Anyone who's been here prior to me to find out what I need to do.
And nobody was able to tell you?
No one was able to tell me.
Okay.
Because there is nothing, I'm sorry.
She's saying we're off the agenda.
Madam Clerk, this discussion is very important right now because there are things I need. Madam Clerk, Madam Clerk, I still have a festival to do and I need to know what I'm doing and how I need to do it. And if Mr. Williams is saying that there are things I must do, then I need to understand that I only have a few more days, Madam Clerk.
Okay, excuse me, today's Tuesday. You have till Thursday or so to bring the vendors in so they can get the proper application. And
yes, so I'm still working with Mr. Williams to find out exactly what it is I need to do.
It has to be signed.
I'm working with Mr. Williams. I just got this information on yesterday.
Okay, but you do know it still has to be signed, right?
I don't know everything yet. He's still working with me to let me know everything I need to do. As of yesterday, this is the information I'm getting.
Okay. I know it was before yesterday, but okay.
No.
Okay, all right. What'd you say? Trustee Cook, what'd you say?
I wasn't talking.
I know but you were talking about me. What'd you say?
I wasn't talking to you.
I know you weren't talking to me, but you was talking about me. What'd you say?
With all due respect, Mr. Mayor, I'm not going to go back and forth with you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. But you can say what you want to say. Okay. Anyway, we go to the financial matters. I'll ask for a motion to approve the transfers, payroll, accounts payable distributions, and combined amount of $436,636.27.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know at what point you want me to say this. If you want to wait till you get a motion in a second, I'd have to refer to the village attorney. But as I stated previously, I'm going to request that we postpone the approval of the accounts payable and payroll until June 20th, where a special meeting can be called due to the fact that we just received the accounts payable prior to the meeting, and also with the exception of 9 invoices. Yes, ma'am. That's what I asked the mayor, Madam Clerk, how he wanted it read, and I was going to defer to the attorney when it should be done.
Motion on the floor.
Yes, sir. Would you?
Mayor,
Yeah.
you can ask for motions, you can't make motions, as you know. If the trustee has a different motion than the one you asked for that she wants to make, she can make that motion and see if there's a second for it.
Okay, but the first motion is the one for the original one that I asked for.
Sure, I mean, you can, if somebody wants to make that motion, they can. If somebody wants to make a
That's what
different
I'm asking
motion,
for, a
they
motion
can
for
make
that
that too.
amount. And like, I'm asking for the motion and a second.
I make a motion.
I'm not, excuse me.
You asked for the motion.
All you do is say yes.
Excuse me.
All you do is say
Yes.
Okay,
Do we
so
have
you-
to argue with every
Yes, you
little
do. And
thing?
I have a second. Can I have a second? What are you
Yes.
shaking your head for? I'm not asking you, I'm just asking for a second. There's no second? Okay. Motion fails as a lack of second.
That's why I was asking for education from the attorney, because we have new trustees on board that don't know the process, which is exactly why I said it during my report, and which is exactly why I said it now. They don't understand if you don't have a motion in a second, you can't move forward. That's why I asked for the attorney.
They do know that because it's happened before. Yes, they do know that.
We have 2 brand-new trustees.
I know the process.
Well, I'm glad you do.
They do know that because it's happened before.
So no accounts payable gets passed. Okay. So we have liability and we have insurance folks that will not get paid.
They comment, that's what you want to do.
Okay.
So that seems like they're going by what you're
All
saying.
right. We have bills that won't.
So that means now we won't pay the accounts payable. Okay,
That's ridiculous. Mr. Attorney.
so the accounts payable would not be disseminated and the checks won't be signed for none of these accounts payable disbursements. Any general comments? No, I don't have any general comments at this time. I have nothing else to say because
It's ridiculous.
one day, this will all end. Who knows when, but I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Who said it? Oh, that's not even. That's okay, man. Madam, was moved by Trustee Williams, second by Trustee Sapp. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Burns?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Good night.